Okay, welcome back to Sittin with Sam. It's a little bit different today. We are recording over Zoom, so prayerfully we will have a good, strong internet connection here as we continue to talk about parenting, specifically fatherhood, me and my father. We're talking today about what I think is one of the trickiest practical challenges that dads face. And Dad, what is that? What are we going to talk about today?
We're talking about how that we all have jobs to do and work to do outside of our family, but that is we need to be devoted to it, but not let it dominate us, make us anxious, be so distracted that we neglect our families. We need to learn how to have a proper evaluation and setup of it.
Yes. I tell you, it can feel like raising a family is a full-time job, but most of us have another full-time job.
Yeah.
And, I was just thinking that I've got some questions for you, but I did just want to share for myself as a dad. When God made Adam and Eve, he put them in a garden and he told Adam to work. So and that was before the curse. So work is not bad, but then after the curse came, then work did become, it says your work, what did it say? The land, by the sweat of your brow, and the land will produce thorns and thistles. So work is hard now because of the curse. But work was always going to be part of our life. So we've got to figure out, how do we do family and how do we do work? So, Dad, you've got an article about this that we're putting out.
Yes.
We hope everybody will go and read
Yes.
that. How and when did you realize that this was going to be a problem that you were going to have to really tackle as a father when you were raising us?
Well, when I was raising younger children, and they needed me, and I needed to help them, and yet I was still wanting to carry out my job and do my job. I had to learn, oh, Sam, when you come home and you're with your family, don't let your job be so domineering of your mind and your thinking that it takes you away from your wife and from your children. Instead, focus on your family when you're at home and be devoted to them. And so I learned that. I think God taught me that, and I learned to do it, and it made a huge difference. I had to learn how to let the anxiety and worries about my job go away and still do it, but not do it at that time.
Well, and knowing you as I know you much better now as I'm grown, I know that you are a very intense man, sometimes an anxious man.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that when we were little and you had to make that transition from just
Yes, I
focus,
did.
from work, and now you had mom, but now you had one kid, then two kids, three kids, then four kids.
Yeah.
I'm sure that was just,
yeah.
I'm sure you had to learn and grow.
I had to learn, and I had to learn. And what I learned was that, hey, Sam, somebody else can do your job. Somebody else can take this and carry all this out, but nobody else can come and be the father of your children. Nobody can be the husband of your wife. You need to be devoted to that. And, as I did that, I also learned that it helped my kids to understand and appreciate my work, but to realize that it didn't take me away from them, that it didn't make them resent my work and my other responsibilities. They learned to actually appreciate it, and knowing that I was loved and devoted. And by the way, my wife would help me when I would be at dinner and something, and I'd be off. My mind would be not there. She would say, Sam, she'd pull me over quietly and lovingly say to me, "You're not here." And I'd learned to change my mind and say, "Oh, I'm here. Hey kids, how you doing?" And she helped me with that. She was really good at it, and she helped me to overcome it.
Yeah. Last week we talked about 3 ways that we can very intentionally teach our children. We talked about things like family devotionals, one-on-one time, just as you go through life. And I think that's a nice connection because how do you feel like having those intentional things in our family life helped you to provide balance with work?
It enabled me to completely be focused on my children rather than be distracted from them. And I would get with them one-on-one, or even when I was together with them at dinner time or in a family devotional, they would realize, oh, Dad, you're completely with us.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah,
And so it enabled me to just be totally focused on them and not focus on other things. And that's what I want to encourage you, fathers, is to not allow your job, even though it's a good and godly and needed responsibility, you need to do it. Don't let it make you anxious and worried and so distracted that you neglect your wife and your kids.
amen. I love what you say. I mean, I've heard you say that hundreds of times over the years.
Yes.
That there's someone else could come. You know, of course, you were a preacher, so you would say, you know, someone else could come and
Right.
lead this church, but
Right.
no one else
Right.
can lead this family. It's you know, and
You're right.
that's so helpful for whatever, whether you're a minister or an engineer or whatever you're doing, a
Yeah.
teacher, someone else can do that job. I know we all think we're indispensable, but someone else can do
Yeah.
that job. But no one else. Our children have not been given any other
Right.
father except the man in the mirror.
I want us to think about the example of Moses in the Old Testament when he would come to God feeling overburdened with the responsibilities God had given him. What did God say? He'd say, "Oh, go and appoint others to people, to other men to help you be leaders." And so I would say, fathers, let's do that. Let's build teams around ourselves. Let's be a team member for others and let others help us and not put it all on ourselves. And Paul did the same thing. He built a team with Timothy and many others. So, and Jesus built a team around himself too.
Well, thank God for our number one teammate, you know, our wives. I mean, looking back, I can see how mom helped you with that. And now as a
Yes, she
father
did.
myself, you know, Lisa, my wife, is helping me so much with this. And
Yeah.
Dad, what was the fruit of learning this lesson for you as a younger father?
The result was closeness to my kids, joy with them, fun with them, being able to teach them, train them, encourage them feeling close to me, knowing I love them, they love me, and being close to their mother and love them. It was amazing.
Amen. And we're all trying to figure this out. You know, I don't think we
Yeah.
ever strike the perfect balance. You know, but we're going to get there, and God's going to help us.
Yes.
The team
Yes.
around us, godly men, our wives, you know, they're going to help us. So, well, I hope this is helpful. Guys, God has called you to be the father of your children. And so rise up to that role with all the strength that God will provide. And this is great, Dad. Thank you for sharing all this.
Okay. All right.
Love you. Here we go. We'll see you guys next time.